Welcome back, everyone. Last week we discussed different types of light waves, and if you were in class, we also talked about sound waves and the different components of what makes a wave. Most of you have already turned in your assignment, which was about transverse waves and what they look like, along with some of the labeling. And you also completed your math connection and your writing connection, which most of you did a great job in an acrostic poem, which is where the first letter of each sentence creates a word. So great job on that. This week we're going to go a little bit deeper. So we're going to expand our knowledge base on waves. So this week we're going to specifically look at light waves and what makes them special. So what you're going to do is the first thing is create a Google document titled light waves. Then you're going to go to the Ducksters website right here, which is going to be look like this. After you get here, you're going to be doing the two light experiments, and they shouldn't take too long. One of them has some artistic work to do with it, and the other one is going to be looking at how light travels. The first one, which is going to be how light travels, you're simply going to follow the directions and make sure you have the materials for these. And they don't have to be the exact materials. You can use substitutes. Just make sure it's something like that. But follow all the directions, and you should eventually have an experiment that sort of looks like this. It's going to look at the path of light. When you're done, you're going to answer these different questions on your worksheet that you created or your Google document, and then you'll be completed with that experiment. The second one, if you follow this light spectrum, is going to look like this. And this is going to be, like I said, more of an artistic project, but it's also going to be looking at the spectrum of light and different colors. So you're going to follow the directions again and make sure you're using different artistic tools that it labels here. You don't necessarily need a compass because many of you don't have that, but try to use something that would make a good circle. But then you're going to follow the directions, and eventually you're going to have a piece of art that looks like this. And you're going to be actually spinning it in circles to look at the blending of colors and how it reflects and refracts. After that, you are going to answer these questions, and I'd like you to do those without looking at the answer key below it, because you should be able to understand the answers of the questions anyway. Going back to the presentation, after that you're going to go into your writing connection. Your writing connection this week is going to be a haiku. For those of you that were in the Eagles literacy class, we talked about syllables last week, but if you weren't, a haiku is going to look at different syllables, and a syllable are the number of vowels in a word that create a sound. So an easy way to find that is if you were to say a word, and we could even do something simple like experiment, you can clap out the number of syllables. So for the word experiment, you would clap with it and say experiment. So all of the different vowel sounds actually have their own syllable, so that word would have 4 syllables. With a haiku, it's very specific that the first line is going to have 5 syllables, the second line is going to have 7 syllables, and the third line is going to have 5 syllables. So these poems are very short. And if you look at the example here, it's going to be, again, very short. So the sky is so blue. The sun is so warm up high. I love the summer. So those would be, that's an example of a haiku, and you can clap it out to see what I'm talking about with the syllables. What I would like you to do with your haiku this week is to create a poem, the haiku, that has to do with light or light waves. That can be anything to do with color, and that could be anything to do with what you would think of when we think of light.